discussed, we discussed all the important topics with related to the process chain. Okay, how to create process chain, and then how to create meta chains also we discussed, and how to add TTPs info packages, how to use delete overlapping requests, how to use change log deletion. So all how to delete change log deletion, and using classic and ADSP model also, activation step. So most of the important topics I already covered here. Okay, so now I'm not no more going to cover anything, so I'm stopping at this point. But next topic is how to monitor the process chain. Remaining few are left here, like ABAP programs, related to ABAP programs. Few of the things are left, but that we can see it later. So next topic is how to monitor a process chain. Okay, that we are going to see it. So generally, what is monitoring means? Monitoring means nothing but to understand, how the chain is getting triggered, where at what time it is getting triggered, and is it successful or not, and how much time it is taking. Generally, in real-time systems, one of the main activity for the support activity is the process chain monitoring. So what exactly it means? So in a production system, on day-to-day basis, a set of chains will execute on nightly basis to fetch data from R3 into BW. Okay, so these chains we must make sure those are completed without any problems, means without any failures. If any failure is there, we need to correct the failure as early as possible in order to complete our data loads in time. By morning around 8 o'clock of business hours, we are supposed to complete all our process chains so that users have reporting availability. Okay. Now coming to this errors, last time when we created this master data chain, we see here there was a failure. For example, if this kind of failure is there, then how people get to know it? That is the important thing. Okay, so how people get to know whether if a chain is failed? When in the support project, one person must monitor the process chains 24/7. Okay, it means not monitoring means not sitting in front of the system, but he must take care. Someone must take care. 24 means on rotation shift, we will assign some persons to take care of the process chains. Okay, because some chains we may run on morning hours also in order to improve the performance of the data load. Okay, so now how anyone get notified, or how we can see which other chains are running fine, which other chains are failed due to some issues, how we can see it. So if we can set some kind of settings to this process chain to make sure we get notified when it got failed. Our system can do self repair if there is some issue is there. Okay, for example, now this process chain got failed. How I get to know what was the reason for the failure? So double click on this failed event, then go to this background job. Here it will tell us what exactly this particular DTP is trying to do and when it got failed. So this DTP is related to the DTP load, and then process variant, start process chain. So it started the DTP execution, and then transformation inactive. So it means when it's trying to execute the DTP, it found the transformation of this DTP was inactive and cannot be executed. So when transformation is inactive, the DTP also will get inactive. So then DTP only active objects will run successfully, inactive objects won't run successfully. So I need to open this info object to check it. So what will I go to info provider tab? I will go to this object GJD. So GJD and plant. So somewhere here I can find that GJD and plant. So this was the info object. So if I go to this info object attributes tab, you see the transformation was in inactive state and DTP also. So for this, there are two transformations are there. Which transformation is related to this DTP? How can I get to know? So then double click on this DTP on the execution tab. On the execution tab, you can see the corresponding DTP information. So RSDS underscore ATTR. So this was the transformation. So double click on this transformation, go to edit mode. 1 second. So right click here, go to change mode. not active. Okay, data source itself is not active. You see, I am getting an error message. So my data source got inactive. In production systems, we may not find this. If it is the issue, then you need to activate it. But what happens? Is it possible to activate any data source directly in production? In development, I can do anything. You know, I can go to edit mode of transformation, I activate it. I can go to edit mode of data source and activate it. But production systems not like this. They are not editable. They are only display mode. Okay, so in such cases, what happen? You know, in the back end, we have some programs are there. If you have access to this ST13 transaction code in production system by using some of standard programs, like there are some standard. You see, RSDS data source activate all is one of the program. So using this program, I can activate any any of the data source. So if system can able to activate it with simple with its limits, then system can activate it. But something which sometimes few of the objects cannot be activated using this program, we need to go to manually to the edit mode and then only activate it. Such kind of things we cannot do it in production. You see, now using this one, I am able to activate it. So now let me go refresh the screen one more time. So I activated that data source using program. Now I am going to refresh it /RS7. Now I'm going to change mode after my transformation. Yeah, now it is going. Earlier it is not going to change mode at all due to data source inactiveness. But since I activated the data source, now it is going to the change mode of the transformation. In production, this transformation also you cannot activate it manually, okay, because you cannot go to change mode of any transformation in production system to activate it. So for activating any transformation also, we have one standard program, RS TRFN activate. Yeah, you see RSDG TRFN activate, transformation activate. Transformation is TRFN here. Here we need to provide our transformation ID, technical level transformation, and status as inactive, and click on execute button. System will try to activate your transformation. If it is feasible in production system to activate the transformation, system will try to activate it, or else it will say I cannot activate it due to some version incompatibility and all. So then you need to transport the changes again from development to the production system in order to activate this transformation. Okay, so these are the challenges that we may face in the production, and based upon the situation, we need to handle it accordingly. But for DTP, activation and all, we can do it. What is this? 5J inactive. Okay, let me refresh it. Maybe still it is having timestamp issue. Transformation is in active state, so definitely I must be able to activate this DTP. Let me check. For DTPs and all, we have activation, change access privileges in production, so we can do it. So you see, now this DTP got activated. So once you activated this one, then you can go to your chain and then try to repair your chain. Then we are done. You see now, when we right click on it, go for repair, it means repair is nothing but trying to repeat the DTP one more time. So failed DTP will be like this only. It will try to repair the DTP one more time like this, and if it will successful, then it will show us. It got failed again. So why it got failed again? Double click on it. So that DTP is locked by user. You see, the DTP was locked by me, so that's why it is not able to execute the so why it was locked by me? Yeah, I am in change mode of this DTP. So coming back from here, I am trying to repeat it. Sometimes what happen, when you have read if any DTP got failed here, if you go to the display variant or manage data target manage, 1 second. No, DTP request not available. So what I am trying to say here is, if I go to the attributes and go to manage, because my DTP is trying to load request here. If the running request got failed, then there will be one red request here. If you're trying to repeat when you have red request here, system may give already some error message. Because there is no red request here, yes, I can repeat it. I am trying to repeat one more time. I go to right click on it, repair, and click on OK. Then system is trying to repeat one more time. Yeah, see, this time it was successful and it went to the next step. So like this, we do corrections in the production system based upon the reason of the failures. But a DTP may get failure with different reasons due to some, master data issue, due to some invalid car issues. So many reasons are there for the DTP failures, and such, all those reasons and how to correct those things, I already discussed in my, one of my YouTube video. Where is it? Under support playlist. So if we go to our playlist here, so BW support videos. Just a second. BW support videos. Here, process chain monitoring part 1 and part 2. So these two videos we need to you can go through to understand more about what kind of failures you may encounter in real time while doing the process chain monitoring. How to do it also I tell, but let's. So this is one of thing. So next thing is, so if you want to know which are the chains, no, 1 second. Before that, yeah. Now, in order to perform, so before going to the next step, so if I go to display log here, so we will see red and green both. So what is this one? It is telling that log. This is a log, okay. So sometime it was failed, but you corrected it, then it went to green color. So the failed one still be available like this as a log information, and the successful information you can see it here. Okay, because it got successful, it can turn into green color and then it proceed to the further step. Okay, so having this red color, it means it is not failed. But if you see the overall status of the chain, it is green. Why? Because it got corrected and then moved to the next step. Okay, yeah. So next what we are going to do is, we are going to learn about a T-code called ST13. What is that? ST13. So what was the T-code which I tell now? ST13. So what is this T-code? Let's see. So this T-code is nothing but, analysis and service tools launchpad. Here we need to provide a name called BW-tools. BW-tools. We need to give this name and then click on execute button. So then it wants to, you can get this kind of screen. By default, this will be checked with process chain analysis. So for this only we come to this program execute and then go to click on process chains. And then now here you can give. So if you want to monitor the last 24 hours chains which ran on your system, simply provide date from 16 to 17. Okay, or if you want to check with between the dates, or if you want to check between the time interval of any day, any date also, you can check like this. So from 16th to 17th to 2 days, which are the chains ran? All the chains which are in red, green, yellow color, I'm going to see now. If you don't want to see any of the green, yellow, red colors now, you can check those, then those won't come here. Okay, I'm clicking on execute button. You see, so these many chains got triggered in the last 48 hours, I can say, not 48 hours, but 17 today's date, 16th. Okay, and which chain got run, and it is not only giving the one instance of any chain, it is telling how many times that chain got triggered, all the failures. So for example, the first one you see, this chain got triggered on 17/8/2018 and it ended with a failure. So now in production system, what we do is we come to this ST13 T-Code and we monitor from here. So generally, last 24 hours we will do the monitoring, because we always keep, keep an eye on this process chain monitoring. So if anything is on red color here, then immediately the person goes to this red color chain and checks what was the issue, and he will correct the issue. So running chains will be displayed on the yellow color, successful chains on the green color, and the red will be failed on the red color. So the person actually doesn't need the chains which are in green color, because successful are fine, which are in running and red color we generally do monitoring. So why we do monitoring? Because which is in yellow color, if it is running for longer periods also, we must take care of what is the issue. So that's why yellow and red colors are high priority for us to monitor. For example, this chain got it is repeatedly executing for every 1 hour, I guess. So this was failed, and if I go to see this process chain, what was the issue? When you click on the chain name, it will navigate to this kind of screen. So in this chain you have only one step called loading info package, and if I click on this chain name, then it will open the chain to me, and here I can see the info package. And if I go to my displaying message, right click and then background, it is telling loading info package from local PC cannot run in batch. As I told you yesterday, info packages which are executing, which are bringing data from our local system cannot be executed in the process chains. Only info packages which are fetching data from the application server or from other source systems can be added in the process chain, but not the info packages from local system, because for this, because it cannot access your system when it is running from the server side. Okay. So this was one of the issue. So like this we do monitoring by using the ST13 T-Code. We can do it. And what else we can do using what else we can do? Okay, but one more thing to before going further. So local system means in this info package, what we are trying to do, we are trying to read data from your local system means nothing but your C drive. Okay, so for example, if I am executing a flat file data load, I will provide my file location from my local system, which is nothing but my C drive, D drive, whatever drive locations you have on your local means the system, on your system, your VDI or your remote desktop, like that. Okay, but apart, it won't accept in the process chain. So apart from this red and green color checking here, what else information it is trying to give? So it is telling me for this each chain was started at what time, date and time. So for example, if you see this one, this particular chain was started on 17/8/1631. This is the time, and how much runtime also it is telling. So this chain got run for not hours, minutes, seconds, 1 second only. This was ran for 11 seconds. This ran for 1 minute 5 seconds. So it means you can able to identify the runtimes also. So using what is the benefit of identifying runtime? If any chain is running too much time also, we need to keep an eye on it. So in order to improve the performance, we need to optimize that chain, or you need to check why it is taking too much time. So from this ST13 T-Code, you can monitor the chains between some time interval and status of the chains, which are in red color, green color, and yellow color, and runtimes also you can get to know. So what next? What you need to? Next important thing is I am going to teach now that one. This many people, I don't know how many people knows this one or not. So next thing is in production system you have any number of chains will be there. Okay, so for example, if I go to this sales transaction data, if I right click on it, display logs. So now if here I can see this particular chain, chain is there. Now I want to know this particular chain is added in which meta chains. Okay, because a chain cannot be run independently. It will, most of the times it will run from the meta chain. But how to identify the meta chain information? If it is in front of you, for example, this if this is the chain and you want to know this chain was added in under which meta chain, it is not possible until you go through all of your chains. because this meta chain is directly under your node, your same component. At least by expanding it, you can get to know, okay, this was here. But or else, if this particular meta chain was there in different component, then it is very difficult for you to search entire whole system. Okay, so at this point of time, what we need to do, we need to get use of the existing standard tables. So for process chain, all the standard tables given by SAP, most or not all, most of the tables starts with RSPC. If you give RSPC star and press F4 or this icon button, then you see you will get many of the chains. So all these chains are related to process chains only. Okay. So out of this one, so one of the important chain is RSPC chain. So RSPC chain is a table which contains process chain information. Okay, so in this chain you will have you will get information of each and every process chain you have in the system. So for example, I am giving this my chain information RSPCTT start. So if I click on it and click on execute button, you see this process chain is containing two versions, A and M version. So let's focus on the active version. Yeah, any chain will be stored with the two versions, active and modified version. So we will take one version, active version always. So in the active version, you see it contains a set of rows. What are these? These are nothing but the steps you defined in this process chain. So this process chain is having a start variant, two DTPs, one and one activation step. If you see here, trigger is nothing but your start variant, two DTPs and one AND condition and one activation. So AND is coming two times because of it is system level table, which so when you double click on any process chain, how exactly it is designing this screen, system is not storing anywhere this design. Okay, it is going to this table as per the entries maintained in this table. At runtime, it is designing this kind of chain. Okay, so this is the table level is the base data. Whatever you designing, when you try to activate, system is converting your chain into table format into like this. Okay. Now why I came here, so this is regarding one information. Now using the same table, I can get to know if it was used in any of the meta chain or not by giving your chain name under process variants and click on execute button. You get to know if it was used in any of the meta chain. You see now my chain was used under GPC meta. So it is giving the information. So if I go to GPC meta and expand it, I can find my chain here. Okay, so if it was available in multiple meta chains also, you can get all the information. For example, if this meta chain is available in any other chain, because a meta chain can be added as a meta chain to a different one, local chain different one. So if you want to know, just simply give this GPC meta under the process variant and click on execute. If you see no entries are there, it means this was not used in any other process chain. Okay, so this is how it is back if it was used in any other process chains or not. Okay, so only thing is it was one of the easiest way to identify the usage of the process chain in other chains. Okay, in production system, when you have one chain which is triggering on multiple times, and if you don't know from where and it got triggering, then this is the best way to identify such kind of scenarios. I hope it is clear. So we gone through process chain monitoring T-code, and we try to understand the issues when failed, and then we try to understand how to analyze a process chain by getting when and all it was used. Okay, where and all it was used. So what else I can teach you here under process chain? So remaining things which are very critical in real time, those got already discussed in the video, so please go through that video, so you will get a high level overview on the real time issues and how to fix those issues also with examples I explained there. Okay, so I'm stopping